welcome to the SweetPea Chickadee YouTube channel. I'm Kimberly. Today is February 13th. It is Monday. This is episode 36 coming to you from Haymarket, Virginia. I typically host this crafty podcast with my daughter Brooke. She's 17. I say typically, but really not this whole entire school year, maybe like once or twice. She did promise me guys though that she's going to be on the next one. Crossing fingers. But she's been really busy and, you know, junior year of high school, it's just like that. So whatever. You can find us on Instagram at SweetPea Chickadee, and you can find me on Ravelry at Karmeni, just my first initial last name. So hey guys, it's been a few weeks, so lots happened. Some pretty good amount of knitting. Do I have crochet today? I don't think I have crochet, and no other crafts. I think it's primarily just knitting today. Before I forget though, I do want to mention that our 2-year anniversary winner still hasn't contacted me. So if you haven't watched episode 35 and you submitted or entered in for the giveaway, go ahead and go watch episode 35 and give me a contact, whether by email or DM on Instagram. If you have contacted me and I haven't responded, I did not see it. So maybe respond again, like email me or Instagram DM me. And we also have a new giveaway to do this episode, so stay tuned for that. And also, I announced the winners from our last podcast episode, so stay tuned for that. That'll be coming up later. And also, before I forget, I'm gonna talk about what I'm wearing, because I always forget until like afterwards or midway through. I am wearing the Aperture Cowldana by Raging Purlwind. That's Rebecca McKenzie. I love this. It's got a cool little like design over here. You can see it better in person. It's my yarn choice, but I love this yarn actually in person. It looks really cool. This yarn actually I wrote down so I don't forget because I made this so long ago. Dragonfly Fibres and Eastern Bluebird. I love this colorway so much. It's so great. And it was like not even a whole skein was this whole pattern. I'm also wearing my Stria cardigan by Andrea Mowry. You guys have all seen this in my Hue Loco yarn. Using like one of their 10 gram mini skein, not 10 gram, 10, 20 gram mini skein sets, although I barely use like any of all that. And the Earl Grey colorway. I also have my Twin Mountain Handcrafts buttons. These are the mirrored, I think, no, iridescent. These are the iridescent buttons. But yeah, that's what I'm wearing. Get that out of the way so I don't forget, because I always do. And yeah, I think that's all of the like upfront kind of chitty chat. We'll get into like life stuff later. But let's go ahead and get into the good stuff in the knitting. I only have a couple faux. It's been a couple weeks and I still only have a couple faux. And the faux I finished like pretty much right after I was done recording it last time. So first up is this beauty. I finished my Adventuring wrap by Ambah O'Brien. I just want to make sure I get well, it doesn't really matter. But I ended with this. So here it is. I was using my, oh my gosh, isn't it? It smells so good because I blocked it too. I love my wool wash. Isn't it beautiful? It just like, I loved it so much. So you obviously knit it lengthwise on the bias. And look, I added in the fringe, guys. It was so easy. It was very soothing to do the fringe, and it's really cool. I wanted to do the fringe especially because it goes with each stripe color. So the fringe matches the stripe color, which is so cool. And it's so long. I love this. It was great. This was with my Hedgehog Fibres advent from this year, or last year, 2022. What year is it? 2022 advent from Hedgehog Fibres, and I just loved it. It's so big, you guys. I mean, what am I going to do with this? I've been like kind of playing with how I want to wear it, and I don't know how. I think it depends on how cold it is. Like if I want to bundle up, right? But if I don't, I probably won't wear it because it's just so big. But I'm trying to play with it like to get the fringe showing real cool. Anyways, we haven't had that many cold days. We had all of our cold snap days in December, and now it's like spring or something. I don't even know. It's like 60 degrees sometimes. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's February. I know we're in Virginia, we're in a southern state, but it gets cold here. Next up, I have a little itty bitty, kind of like a finished object. It's one of my squares from my Culmination blanket I'm making with my friend Amanda. We're knitting 1 square a Sunday, and you only need like 30 squares to make this. It's Really cool. It's in the Salt and Timber book by Lindsay Fowler. This one's hard to tell because of all the marling I did. But yeah, there is one square. This is my purple square. This one I think I held 3. Looks like I held a worsted, a sport, and a fingering. There's a cool little chart in the book that tells you like which weights and how many you can use to get the same gauge basically for each square. So yeah, and I think officially now 3 squares behind. It's February, I'm pretty sure. Although Amanda's been traveling, so maybe she's also behind, but I think she's also ahead, so probably not behind. But I think as of last Sunday, I'm now 3. But I do plan on getting caught up like in the next week or 2, and I'll explain that later of why I'm gonna have all this free time. And okay, so that's that. And my last faux is being shown on Mabel. Come here, Mabel. Come here. Here's Mabel. So she is very fashionable, wearing the hipster sweater. So look at that. So I did not do the sleeves. I just left the armholes, and it's got a cute little turtleneck for when she's lounging and feeling loungy. Right, Mabel? Isn't she cute? She's so cute. She loves her sweaters. And that one was super fast, actually. It was like, oh gosh, I didn't even write this down. What did I use? It was Wool-Ease, Thick and Quick. And I think I got it, I don't know, Michael's, Walmart, or something like that. And I had it in stash. It was so nice. And it I think I only used 1 skein. Did I go into the second skein? I don't know. It's all my project pages. I try and keep pretty good track of that so that when other people, because I like that, when I go look into other people's project pages, if I can see like an accurate sizing and yarn usage and stuff like that. So I try and keep track of that. Sometimes I don't, but it is the Hipster dog sweater. I don't know if I said who it was by. Kundalini Knits. That's who it's by. Really cute. I really like that pattern. I'll probably make it again. And it's a little long, I think, for her. Actually, she's grown into it. It was a little long when I first made it, like a couple weeks ago, and now it looks like it's pretty good. So that's it for my faux. I only have 3, and it's been a couple weeks. But I've been making, you guys, I've got a couple new casts on. I've been making massive progress on it, and I can't wait to show you guys. But first, let me show you guys. I had already cast on the Twisted Staircase socks. So I'm throwing my bags around. A Res Lady bag. I got this last year. I don't think she has this print in the shop, but and I like the inside too. And you can just fold them. So this is using my Zebra Yarns 12 Days of Christmas Advents. And I am doing the Twisted Staircase socks by Craftnut Yarns. Here is the like cool kind of like the mini skein, but it's like humongous. And these ones were already wound up. So obviously I'm not done yet. And it is February, but that's okay. So here we are. I'm getting caught up. Here we are. I'm doing them like in tandem. So here we go. Last I told you guys I was trying to figure out where I was going to put my heel because I was going to put in a Fish Lips Kiss heel. Because I normally would do a afterthought heel, but I was worried about cutting into this pattern. Because I just didn't want it to look weird around the heel. Like if I messed up picking up these and making them look right. And then my math kept getting weird trying to do this math to try to figure out the foot. And I was like, you know what? It'll look weird around the heel if I mess up. It's okay. No one looks at your heels, guys. So it's okay. I'm just going to do the whole thing and do an afterthought heel. That's just what I'm doing. It was just easier. Because I was literally sitting there for like nights. Like my math kept changing. I'm like, why is my math changing? Like, what am I doing? What's going on? So I'm like, you know what? Never mind. I'll just do it and then I'll measure at the end. So I think I'm on day 8. I'm still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 here. I finished 8 here. I'm on day 9. So I've stopped that and then I picked up this to work day 8. I just started the next green color. I love this pattern on a self-striping. It would look really cool on anything, really. It's a really good pattern. And it's really easy to memorize. Easy to know where you are in the pattern. So yeah, it's really good. It's just taking time. It took a while because I was trying to figure out what I was going to do for the heel. And now that I know, I'm off flying again. So I only need, if I'm on finishing day 8, I'll have 4 more days after this. 4 more stripes.
So that's that. And don't forget, you guys, Zebra Yarns, which I'm going to announce the winner from the Zebra Yarns giveaway from last episode, this episode. But don't forget, there is a discount code, and that's down below. I think it's through the end of February. So it's down below in show notes. All right, now it's story time. So this is in a bag by Cottontail Farm. Cottontail Farm, right? Cottontail Farm. I always want to say Cottontail Fiber, maybe, but it's Cottontail Farm. Love their bags. That's an old one too. All right, so I have some I call mine Nomadic Shorties, but really it's just Nomadic yarn. That's why I call it that. The colorway, it's in the yak sock base, and it's Old Friend. And I got a 50 gram skein, which is why there's only this much left. But, okay, so they're shorties. So I marked what I got at the heel. Everything looks fine. I bound off. Everything was fine. And then I see, you know, I put in markers, and at the very end, I'm like, I'll remember what my final count was. I don't need to put another marker in. And then it turns into months later, I'm doing the second sock, and I'm like, I don't remember how many. And so then I try and do my best guess, and I was wrong. And I know I'm off by 3. It was either 3 up or 3 down. You know what I mean? It was either 83 or 80. I chose 80, and I think it was definitely 83. No big deal. They're just shorties. 3 rows is kind of a lot, but whatever. I'm not undoing it. But then I bound off, and I'm like, these seem like, you can't tell. Yeah, you can. Maybe you can. Like, I mean, a lot, like, even side to side, it feels, I don't know. I think my tension must have been completely different, which I've never had that problem before when I knit one and then knit the second one. But this seems much more relaxed, and this one is much more tight. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what I was doing. But they're just for me, so it's not a big deal. But I'm just like, you know when something irritates you? Like, and you're just like, I can't even right now. Like, all I have to do is add in heels. Like, I'm not fixing this one. But I'm just, like, so frustrated. I'm like, what happened? What'd I do? Because then you don't want to redo it again later. Like, you don't want to make the same mistake. But, like, I know I was off by a rose. But, like, the seam's tighter. Which is not, it's not too tight. It's just weird. It's almost like 2 different socks. Like, I don't think you can see it on camera. But, look. Oh, my gosh. Look. I feel like you can see it. It looks, I don't know. I don't know what happened. Maybe I should go count my rows, my stitches. See, this is why I don't pick it. It's like, that's why it's just sitting here, minding its own business, because I just can't look at it right now. Okay, so that's still there. It should have been a faux by now, but it's not. Okay, I have a bunch of new cast-ons, but let's talk about one that's going to be a frog. You're going to be shocked, you guys. Shocked. It's Brook Sweater, you guys. It's going to get frogged. Oh, and it was Brooke. It was like, yeah, no. So, okay, we all know, or if you were here earlier, we know that I knit pretty much an entire back panel, realized it was humongous. And I'm like, whoa, that's really big. And I held it to Brooke. I'm like, that's way too big. Because you do it in pieces. Front panel, back panel, sleeves, seam it all up. And actually you do the sleeves flat. And I was like, no thanks. So I started to do them in the round. Because I was like, I have a line drawing and it's right there at sleeves going flat. So I was like, okay, so I was knitting like the 2XL for her. Not even giving as much ease as they want because it is supposed to be really big. But you know, when you're already curvier, you don't need it to be so much more bigger, right? So I already went down on that. I was still doing a 2X. I'm like, you know, that was way too big. I went down all the way to a large. Like, that's how big it was on her. And I was like, well, let's just go down to the large. Let's just go there. It is still humongous. Okay, so I knit the whole thing, seamed it up, and I started doing a sleeve, and I'm like, this sleeve looks huge, right? And I was like, Brooke, let's try this on, because let me see if maybe I should go back in and do like more tapering like right away, more decreases. She tried it on, and I was like, what is wrong? Like, why is this sweater so big? And I tried it on without the collar, because I hadn't put the collar on yet. So here it is. This is what I had done of it. There's the back. So I'm like, well, you know how a collar changes it sometimes? I'm like, let me just throw on a collar. It'll take 2 seconds, right? I mean, it took me like an evening, barely. My pickup was atrocious, but I was like, I was 95% sure at that point she wasn't going to like it. I put the collar on, had her try it on again, and she was like, no. And I didn't even like it on her. I can't tell
if it was the shaping, because she looks good in a boxy, but this was like a weird boxy on her. I think it was a boxy with this chunky yarn did not go together for her body type, and or for, at least for her style, like the way she wears sweaters. And I think the color blocking actually did not help. It didn't help because she's like more, you know, she's a little bit more chesty, so it just didn't look. It looked like it was making it look. It was just, it wasn't good. She didn't like it. I was like, I don't even like it. And she's like, I'm sorry, Mom. I was like, no, honey. I'm like, okay, what if I just made it small? Because I was like, oh my God, I have to knit this 3 times. So while she was wearing it, I basically went and like cinched it up in the back. And like, this is what it'll look if it's all tightened up. And it was like, no, it just didn't. I don't know what it was. She didn't like it. I didn't like it. And at this point, I was over knitting it because I have knit it like twice right now. By then, I was like, I am not knitting this thrice. So she's like, I'm sorry, Mom. I'm like, it's okay. Honestly, I don't want to knit this anymore. So it's being frogged. What? I had a whole kit. And I even tried it on me thinking like, oh, maybe I can wear it. I'm like, no, I don't. It didn't. And this is the large. I mean, and I was like, maybe my gauge is off. Like, maybe it was. And I measured my gauge and it's not. I measured it and it's exactly on. So I don't know. It's just humongous. So if you're going to knit this, just know it's humongous and probably just knit the small, no matter who you are. So yeah, it's getting frogged, but now I have a whole bunch of yarn. But that's okay, because you're going to go into future cast-ons here in a little bit. And more ordering of yarn for her, because I've actually got 2 sweaters lined up for her now. Now that I've knit this and it's not worked out, I've got 2 more sweaters going. Well, I haven't started them yet, but I'll get to that in a minute. All right, so now coming to new cast-ons, although I think I already showed you guys the Trail Point hat in my, oh my gosh, Fringe Supply Co. I always forget. Bag. This pattern's by Spout Knits, and it's using plied wool, or plied yarn, just plied, but they're bobbins, which are like mini skeins, and I haven't made much progress. I mean, I knit the whole brim, folded it, seamed it, and now I've started on the second color. So here's the brim of the hat, and here's the second color. The top color is going to be this color, and I'm not sure about it now that I've seen it like that. So I think I'm going to do more of the gray and see how I feel. I have other colors I can use instead, but this would be the color that would be on top. We'll see. But yes, I really like these 2 together at least a lot. So yeah, I just haven't... Once I picked it up, it was kind of tedious, and I don't think I did as good a job with the pickup or the like seaming together of the fold over brim as I did with his first hat. That's okay. It'll still be warm for him. And this is for my husband. If you couldn't already tell by my hymns, and it's for the mister. He already has a Trail Point hat that he loves. It's like blues and grays. So I was giving him a new, he asked for a new one, and I was even like, oh, I'll give you, do you want like a solid color one? And he's like, no, it's stripes. I'm like, oh. Okay, a bunch of new cast-ons, you guys. I got lots of stuff going on here. Okay, what do I want to talk about first? Let's go with the, oh my gosh, the one I've done probably like the most work on. So it's in a Scrappy Angel bag. This is the Janet Tote, the large bag, which is the same as my other bag. The Mondrian Pullover was in that. Okay. Which, I don't know if I said that. Brook Sweater was the Mondrian Pullover by 2 of Wands. But I finally cast on with my Ruby and Roses Advent from 2022, which is just like a few months ago. But I cast on the Habitation throw by Helen Stewart. And I'm like almost done with all the first round of stripes. So here's all I got. All the stripes. Not done yet, almost, with the first round. Now, this is a slight modification to the original pattern, if you know the original pattern. Okay, I am on day, before I get crazy, 22. I've kept them all, so I know which ones I'm on. I'm on day 22, working my way up to 24. I do have 25. I started, now, my 25th color was a full skein, so I started with that color, and I'm going to do, like, more stripes of that color, working it into the middle area.
and so on. So before I get too crazy, the normal habitation thread, I believe you just go on until you run out of yarn, you attach your next color and just keep going. It's kind of like a watercolory cool thing. This is a modification. I first saw this from Fiberbound. I saw it on hers. She got it from, oh, who did she get it from? I mentioned it last time. Oh, the Two Girls podcast. There's so many Two Girls podcasts. Anyways, and they got it from, I'll put it right here. They got it from Knit Knack Zach. Oh, God, it's hard to say. He did this a few years ago with one of his advents, and that's how they got it. Fiberbound saw it. I saw Fiberbound, so I basically had to find, because she was like, yeah, go to their podcast and find out. Well, I went to their podcast, and then like, oh yeah, it's on Knit Knack Zach's Ravelry page. So then I went to his Ravelry page. So anyways, that's how I found it. But essentially, you're just knitting your stripes even, and then you do a separating row, a different color in the eyelet rows. I'm doing Ruby and Rose's yarn, but I didn't want to use the main skein, because you just use the main skein, but I didn't want to use the main skein because it's very fun, and I didn't know if that'd be a good enough separator, because it would blend in a little bit with some of the colors. So I ordered off of her sale, Ruby and Rose's sale, Addie's sale, the colorway Mirror, which is just like a light gray. I have it right here. It's like a really good gray. Like very tonal, like a steel gray, I would say. And it looks really great with all these different colors. And I might even put in like full stripes of gray in here somewhere, like in the middle. So the thing with this is, he has it modded to where Zach, he did the first 25 stripes up to the halfway point, and then he repeated the stripes back down in reverse order. Therefore, like these stripes would be then first as a big stripe on your way back. So they all get equal play and use up most of the yarn that way. Now, I noticed that everyone who's done it that way has like some yarn left over, and I want to get the bigger blanket and use the most yarn. So I've already been trying to calculate. So I was keeping track of my earlier ones to see how much I would have left over when I did the larger ones. And I think I have between like 4 and 6 grams left per color. So I'm thinking of doing some cool stripes, mixing in all the colors, as well as like a full couple stripes of the 25, maybe some gray, just to make it bigger. But I'm not gonna do a square. So the square is where you just keep increasing and then promptly decrease back down. Makes a square. I kind of want to rectangle it out. So my plan is, and I had to sketch this out. My plan is go until the last color. So I only have a few more days left. Go until day 24, which is technically 25 stripes because I started with 25. Then I'm going to even it out. But if I were to stop doing anything and just keep going, it'll turn into like some kind of like asymmetrical thing that I don't want, which is cool for a shawl, but not for a blanket. So I think as I've done my high-tech sketching, I will decrease on one side, increase on the other side. I think that's how it works. I wrote it all down. I might even have it in a picture. I'll show you. But if I were to decrease on one side, increase on this side, it'll keep it kind of straight, and then I can diagonal back down. It'll make it into a rectangle. I don't know how that works, but it worked out in my high-tech sketching picture. So I'll let you know how that goes. And then I'll do that for like a couple of the big main stripe rows until I'm ready to do this on the way back down. And then I'll do it on the way back down. So it won't be like super rectangular, like really long, but it'll be longer because it's already it's getting quite wide. So it's gonna be fine width-wise. I don't need to worry about that. Like I don't want to take it off needles, but like, right? Be like this. It's pretty good. I have a couple more stripes still. So that's a pretty good size width-wise. And now I just want to make it longer. But yeah, it is so pretty. I love all this yarn. I have 2 stripes left. And it's really fun too because I opened them in December. So it's really cool to go back through and like see all the colors all over again. And I love them so much. I'm so excited to be able to knit with them back down the other way. It's really cool. So when I said I had 4 to 6 grams left over, I meant after my calculations, I have 4 to 6 grams left over after I do the back down on the other side of the stripes. So I've already calculated that into my measurements. And then, yeah, so that's my plan. You'll be able to see if it works out or not. And I got one of my cool Pearlsmith, a cool flat long pearl for my advent. It's marking my right side. And then I'm just doing, all the switches, but I'm like literally just doing weave and Steven method on the back, and I'll trim all those after I block. And because I don't care if you can see it, because it's my blanket and it's a blanket. But yeah, that way I'm not weaving a whole bazillion ends. But isn't it, oh my gosh, it's so pretty. Look at this fade of color, you guys. I mean, that looks brown, that's purple. Like a mauvey purple. So pretty. But yes, this is actually like what when I first sit down in the morning, I knit a couple rows. I mean, I was knitting like blocks of it at a time, but now it's getting bigger, so I at least do a couple rows. A couple of the garter rows. It's really nice. So I'll let you know if my rectangle idea turns out. I think it should work. Because you'll see here. Let me find my cool high-tech sketches for you guys. Okay, here are my... So this was the winner. So this is if I were to not increase or decrease, and then, so you see how it's like, right? And I was trying all these different ways, but if I go to here, increase on one side, decrease on the other side, and then do decrease and keep decreasing on this side, it turns into a rectangle. Right? Architect majors or drawing people. That's my plan. Okay. So I think it should work out. And yeah, so I'll let you, I just started this like a week and a half ago, maybe almost 2 weeks ago. I mean, and I'm just like, and I knit other things, like, so it's not like the only thing I'm knitting on. And it's just so, I love mini skein knitting, like anything that you could just be changing out colors that you love. It's just so much fun. And all of that Ruby and Rose is on her soft sock base, or her soft rose base. Super soft. Love it. And my next, one of my next, and it goes into acquisitions, I believe, is, okay, so this is an acquisition. I'll show you first. Look at it. Okay, so I got my first bag from I Heart You from Canada, and she did a collaboration with it's Coastal, okay, it's a different tag, OMDL Coastal. So OMDL Coastal does the prints. So they screen printed or printed this on the canvas, and then I Heart You made the bags, if that makes any sense. Because look, I Heart You. Oh, I don't know if you can see that. Maybe you can't. Oh, because it's not the right side. So it's got a great big handle. I love this size, and I love the inside. It's like this gold fleck with a cool gold fleck pocket. Love this. Okay, so I've got 2 whips in here, but they're the same thing. So my husband is taking me away this weekend. Like I found out a couple weeks ago, like about a month ago, that he was taking me away, and it's a surprise, and he never can keep surprises from me. So it's probably the first time ever. So I'm really excited. And it's like a Valentine's Day, but it's really like, he's not going to be here for our anniversary, which is next month. And also it's our dating anniversary the day after Valentine's Day, which is the 15th. Obviously, you guys know that. But so it's kind of like a nice little weekend. So it's just Friday to Sunday. And he won't even tell me where it is. So I know it's like within driving distance. And I'm assuming it's mountainous because we're in the mountains. It's Virginia. And like, kind of bougie. Not really, but like, it's kind of like probably mountainous resort like, right? This is you guys, this is what he told me to bring to wear. Stuff that you can wear that you can be comfortable. I'm like, okay, well, you mean comfortable? And he's like, well, like, so not things you would wear to work, like if you were to work in the city still, but then like not what you would like wear around the house. And I'm like,
That's a huge gap of clothing. Like, okay, what I'm not wearing into the city in my like, my like government job or what I'm wearing around the house lounging. Okay, there's a lot of clothes in between. Can you narrow it down a little bit more? But he refused. So I was like, I want to make a Sophie shawl. I was like, that looks nice. And so I came down to use some stash, came down to my worsted stash, and I found a couple that I thought would work. But then I couldn't decide which one I wanted. So then I cast them both on I cast on the first one thinking that was the one I wasn't going to do. Like I would just see it really quick and be like, no. And I loved it. But then Brooke really loved the other one. So I cast it on and now I have 2 going. Do I need 2 Sophie shawls? Maybe. Okay. And I was going to make the bigger one. And you guys, it's Monday. These aren't even half done. Because I keep knitting on other things. Is really what it is. I do this all the time. I'm like, oh, I should have something for this. And then I get all excited. Either I wait till the last minute to think of these things, or I get really excited and then I'm like, I don't really need it. And I don't finish it. Well, I finish it after the fact. So I've got 2 going. The first one, the one that I thought I wasn't going to love, that I actually do love, is this one. So I was going for more neutrally colors, and this is like my kind of neutral still colorful, but it's like more of a pastel. And I just love how it's knitting up. It is so pretty. This is marking my, my increase row. Like just my increase side, not even my row, just the side I will increase on. But look how pretty that is. I love this so much. Now this is knit crate yarn, right? No, not knit crate. I got it in a knit crate, but it's Malabrigo. So this is Malabrigo worsted in Rosalinda colorway. And the reason why I haven't even used this before, I'm going to show you. I'm going to lean over. Okay. So here's the first skein. This all came in a knit crate. Here's the first skein. And then here are the next 2 skeins that all came in the same package. Like, it's the same colorway. And when I got it, which was years ago, when I was like first jumping into like different fibers and stuff for knitting, I was like, what am I gonna, like I would have to switch alternate skeins big time. And then what's up with this dark one? Like these are even different enough. And then you got this one, but they're the same color. But then I saw them, I was like, I could do the coolest faded, like it's perfectly faded Sophie's shawl. Wouldn't that be, I'd be like perfectly faded. But then like, my thing is, this is all great in like fancy and kind of bougie, right? Colorway for me while still being colorful. But then once we get into this dark, is it still like a neutrally color? Because it looks pretty dark. And that's what I was saying. And I really love the thick and thin of this because it looks great knit up in this. So nice. And it's very fun to actually knit with the thick and thin in this. And then I was like, okay, I really like this. And then Brooke came in and was like, I really like the other yarn though. And I'm like, let me see. And then I liked them both. So here we are, the predicament. The next one is in Wonderland Yarns in the March Hare, but it's in the LYS, I think it's 2021. Yeah, Local Yarn Store Day 2021, which was Grace. And here it is. I've obviously done the most on this. So it's got a great, like, I'll say blueberry kind of cobblery. It's got some brown caramely bits, some blueberry, raspberry bits, and then cream color. I've done the most on this, clearly. So yeah, and I was like, well, I do like this. This probably looks more like what I was leaning towards, like more neutrally kind of, like as opposed to, right? But I don't know. And then I was like, well, this probably look better with my skin tone and my hair, right? Then I got to this point and I went to hold up to the mirror and I'm like, oh, does it? Look, okay. Like, let me get underneath my, does it? Over this one? Like, I kind of think this one looks better with my hair. You guys, also, I brush these curls out and they just keep sucking right back in. And then that's when I stopped. This is what happens. Then I stopped and I was like, really, I did all this work and I think I want to wear this one more. Like, right now. But this looks really pretty too. But then, like, how many Sophie shawls do I need?
I mean, I'm almost done with the first skein of this. And with this one, I actually have more yarn with these because it just has more yardage. But then I don't need more yardage. You know what I mean? I only need a certain amount of yardage, which is plenty for this one with this yarn. My predicament, you guys. So watch, I'm going to go away this weekend and I'm going to have neither. I'll bring it to work on. That's what I'll do. I'll bring them to work on. But they're both housed in this bag. Like I have both. I don't have the multiple skeins because I only wound up one of each to see which one I wanted. But I have them both in here. Both yarns, both needles, both projects. Okay, now they're going to be all like smushed. But yeah, I have all this in here and I've got so much room in this bag. I mean, still tons. I left the tag on for you guys so I could show it to you first. But I was like, I want to start using it right away. Okay, well, I don't know, guys. They both look great. I may just need 2 shawls. We'll see. Okay, then the last one, which is like not even on my list because I just cast it on like a day or 2 ago because I was supposed to record this like last week, is in another acquisition. So here's my Valentine bag. This is from 5 to 6 Handmade, right? Oh my gosh. 5 to 6 Handmade, pretty sure. I'm gonna put it right here if that's not it. But I saw these. I think I saw Moonglow Yarn Co. said, oh, look at, she's making bags that go with her yarn, her like Valentine's yarn set. In this bag, I was like, oh my gosh, I need this bag. It's perfectly hearted. I got the extra little handle that you can get. It already came with the cool thing that you can add on her normal bags. This one came with it. And it came with a zippered pocket with a different lining in it. And then it also has these many different seamed pocket sizes. Like they're all different sizes in here. I've got scissors and stuff. And I got my Chelsea Luxe yarn in there. This is my Galentine's Day set from like, I don't even remember. I want to say it was pre-pandemic, but it could have been last year. Like, I was like, is this happening? I'm like, I had this for so many years. I'm like, or was it last year? I can't, everything's the same. So I decided, and actually I was trying to decide between 2 different patterns. One was just like some, and then just striping was the one pattern. Just striping some of these colors in, because here are the mini skeins. Or there is a Hohi pattern, something Paris, I'm gonna put it right here, that I was thinking. And so I cast it on, and then I bought the Hohi pattern, looked at it and realized I would need to cast on a different number. I'm like, cool, I'll make that with a different sock set. But so I decided to stripe this one. So here it is so far. I'm just doing a 2x2 rib cuff. I did a little topper of the maroon, or like a deep red. It's not even really maroon. 2x2 rib for like 15 rows total. And then I did 2 rows of the main, 4 rows each. So 4 of the red, 4 of the main, 4 of the purple, 4 of the main, 4 of the red. And now I'm just going to do main until I get to heel. And first I did them all together without this breaking at point, and the purple like got drowned by the red. So I spaced it out so you could see the purple better. And these are going to be like midi socks. They're not going to be long socks. They're just going to be like, but not shorties. I'm going to go down a little bit and then do the heel. And I'm going to do the heel in the purple. I haven't quite decided on the toe yet. I want to maybe do the red in the toe, but then I feel bad about this purple because I love purple. But I'm digging the red with this color, this yarn. And then, but when we get close to the toe, I'm going to do the stripes. I don't know if I'm going to do all 3, maybe just 2. And I don't know if there's going to be a separator in between. But I'll do that near the toe. I'm kind of just winging it and see what I feel like. Because this yarn is so pretty and I want to keep using it up. That's why I'm like, I don't want to be shorty socks. I want to use up more of this yarn. It's so pretty. So here, it was like a whole little kit. Came with a whole bunch of goodies. Does it say the year on it? I want to say it was pre-pandemic. Like 2019. Maybe it was 2020. Like before 2020. And it's in her 8515, which is in her coupe sock, Luxe coupe sock base. It's very nice, very plushy. So yeah, I really like this. This is really fun. I've been knitting on that a little bit. when I should be working on my twisted staircase. But it's so nice when I'm just like knitting. Like I needed a project I could just grab and just do like a knitting around. And I think that's it. That's one of my acquisitions. I got a couple bags this time, guys. I was really excited about this. Okay, acquisitions. You've already seen a couple bags that I have, but let me get into a couple things that have come in the mail. Nothing super recent. I did get my Yarnable. I'll go over that. But I forgot to mention last time that I did get my Freckled Whimsy Advent because I had ordered this as like a late pre-order that was supposed to come till after Christmas. And I ended up getting it like a week into December. So I would have had plenty of time to knit it if I wanted to. But I still haven't knit last year's Freckled Whimsy. And I almost didn't order this year. Well, okay. I have 2021's Freckled Whimsy that I haven't knit. It's still in the bag. Which, by the way, I've seen sneak peeks of this knit up. It is so pretty. And I wasn't going to get this last year's 2022. So I'm like, I still have 2021's. And then I was like, but I mean, I gotta get it. So now I have two. And I want to knit, I'll knit the other one first anyways before I knit this one. But I have that. And then I ordered during Dragon Horde sale in December. Oh, it's crinkling. I ordered, okay, I'm going to open it and then come back. I ordered a couple sock sets from Dragon Horde. I almost got this one when we were at Woolen Folk at Rhinebeck weekend. And I didn't because I was trying to like space out my money. And then I just kept thinking about it. And then she had a sale. I'm like, I'm getting it. I know she had it in the shop. And then there's another one that I always saw that I wanted to grab. So I grabbed, the one I saw at Woolen Folk was this one. And it came with this stitch marker. So this is Huntress with an Artist Soul. It's got those two mini skeins. And it's got this. I mean, I just loved it. It was so pretty and nothing that I normally have. That's another thing. Like when I'm at these festivals, I see so many beautiful things, but then like I'll flash back to my stash and be like, I have something like that. I have 3 things like that. I do not have anything like this. It's so pretty. I don't know what to make with it yet, of course. And it's in her Myth Fingering 7525. And it also came with this really cool stitch marker Progress Keeper. And then I had been eyeing this every time I saw her site. This colorway. Oh my gosh. This is in the Remember Me colorway. I love these paired with this. Just Tristan's like colors are like awesome. I love her sock sets. So these are the 2 I got because she was having a sale and it was like donating for her poor puppy that ended up passing away. And so I had to partake to help with her funding. And then my sweet mother. Okay. Mom was like, oh, hey, I've had kind of like a rough couple weeks. I'll get into that later. But my mom was like, hey, you're having a present's going to arrive tomorrow. I was like, oh, thanks, Mom. And so I go to open it and I'm like, ooh, that's pretty. I see purple and it was a bag. And I'm like, ooh, that's pretty. I love that purple. And then I opened it and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's a knitting bag. It's like this huge thing. Oh my gosh. Okay, hold on. I need to like, I think I know what I'm going to put in it. You guys, look at this. Okay, so there's a pocket up here pocket here in the plastic. This, you can like lift it up to go in, or you can just unzip the whole top. Okay. Then there's a whole big back pocket and then a whole bunch of little pockets. And my mom was like, because she was just here for Christmas, she's like, I thought you could like put in a whole bunch of your project bags and you can use it to carry it up and down the stairs with you. Because she knows I'm carting all my project bags all across the floors. If you guys have multiple floors, you guys all know this. Or even different rooms. We carry our project bags across the rooms. I'm like, that's actually perfect. I think I'm going to put my son's sweater, because I'm going to cast that on soon, back here. And then when I'm changing rooms or whatever, I put like my smaller project bags, like my socks and my hats and stuff. Just throw it in there. I mean, these things are huge. Throw them in there and I can carry the whole bag. Not only does it have cool like straps like this, it's got a shoulder strap. It's also got a huge back pocket and these cool side pockets. They're clear. This one, well, that one's not clear, but it's a big one. And you guys, the hook, I don't know if you can see, look heavy duty. Like it really hooks in there. It's so cool. And then the front zip, I don't sell these bags. It sounds like I feel like I'm sounding like I'm selling them and I'm not. But the front zip, look at this. So
So you can do like crochet hooks or like whatever, and like little zipper pockets. I'm not showing this very well. Zipper pocket, another pocket. Like this is so cool. Like what else is going on here? But yes, I was gonna move into it. I was gonna put some scissors and all that stuff in here, like all the good stuff you need. And then I was like, gonna show it on the podcast. I was supposed to record last week. But yes, I'm casting on Dalen's sweater, and it's gonna go, because I'm obviously done currently with Brook Sweater, so I'm gonna cast on Dalen's, and it's gonna go back here. I mean, and I love that purple. It's like my favorite color. She got it off of Amazon, and it's Teamoy, Teamoy. I'll have it linked below. Which reminds me, I signed up as an Amazon associate, so I don't have a storefront because I don't have enough followers, you guys. But I can do links, and what I'm doing, and the reason I signed up for that is because I want to save up and get a recording camera for the podcast, because I record on my phone right now, which is fine. It's kind of a pain when I transfer it. It's a pain. I think if it's a camera would make it a whole lot better, and I can do different kind of things with it. So those are expensive. So to save up for it, I'm getting inventive. So I have signed up for the Amazon Associates, I think it's what it's called, where like if you click on the link, like if you want it, not that you have to like buy anything, but if you wanted anything I ever show you that's from Amazon, and you click on my link below, I apparently get some sort of like, I don't know, commission, I guess. I don't know. But anyways, if you wanted to, just if you click on the link below, that's all. And I will find this and click it, link it down below, but it's Teamoy, Teamoy. Love it. Speaking of signing up for things, and I want to get a new camera, I also signed up for Ko-fi. So I've actually been asked many times if I have a Ko-fi account, and also if I do Patreon. So I love Patreon. However, I can barely keep up with the free stuff I give you guys. Like I can barely keep up with like regular content. There is no way I would be able to do Patreon. Maybe someday, but like I am not that squared away. So Ko-fi's cool if you guys want to buy me coffee. But all those anything that we earn or I earn or you guys send me will all either go for giveaway donations or for saving up for my camera that I want to buy or anything else for the podcast. But that's what it'd be for. But yeah. And I'll have all those linked below. All right, now we're getting into Yarnable. And I know you probably have seen it on a couple people's already. I love it so much. First of all, the yarn color is amazing. The yarn color is called Love Language, and it's my favorite color. It's so pretty. You probably see a little, there we go. It's like I love all the purples, like some neon and bright and like mauve-y. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. And like all the extras pretty much match in color. We got this really cool project tracker details, and it's like a whole little tablet of it. I mean, look how cool that is. And it's purple. You also get a really cool, okay, I'm not giving anything away, pattern for a hat. It's called Always and Forever. There's some pattern details on there. And I got a cool little sticker. Where'd my sticker go? Oh, there it is. It says, yarn is my love language. And we got this really cool tote bag. I love tote bags. I use them so much. Same thing. Yarn is my love language, which is so true. It's a pretty good sized tote bag too. So yeah, that was Yarnable for this month, for February. Then I also had something from Needles. Went to Needles of the Haymarket, my local yarn store. They had all black Regia, which I don't believe I've looked before and they haven't had it. And this is the first time. And I got this because my son really wants me to crank him dress socks, like for the military dress socks. And I was like, oh, perfect. I finally found the all black. So I got that so I can crank him some socks. And then while I was there, I also found this. Isn't that pretty? This is Shawl. It's a Dauber Ball Crazy. And this is the colorway Piano Bar 2312. And it is, this is what it's going to look like, kind of. But it is, I believe it's 75-25. So you can do socks. Yep, 75-25. But yeah, it's like this mauve and tan, and it's really pretty. And I want to try and crank these, I think. But then I keep feeling it. I'm like, maybe I want to hand knit these. They're so nice. So we'll see. But they're definitely going to be socks for me. And that's all I got this story, guys. I was pretty excited with myself. And then I had on here that I have a Hey Country Creations acquisition because I can't find it. I think it's upstairs in my Christmas stuff because I ordered, it was in December, and I forgot to show it last time. She does beaded stitch markers and beaded earrings. And I ordered my daughter, Brooke, these really cool, like, goldy, diamondy earrings. And then I also got me, I think it was like one of the Christmas gnomes. And now I don't know where I put it. And I keep forgetting, I think it's upstairs my Christmas stuff, and I keep forgetting to look there. But speaking of Hey Country Creations, we're doing this episode is sponsored by Hey Country Creations, and she's doing a giveaway. So she's offering any of her St. Patrick's Day stitch markers of your choice, winner's choice. So all you have to do, we'll do that later, but if you submit for the giveaway, then I'll announce the winner. You'll contact her, or I'll give her your name, whatever. I'll link you guys up, and you get to pick which stitch marker you want, the beaded stitch marker. They're really cool, and she's actually having a sale and through tomorrow, I think, and I don't think this will be posted then. But what you should do is you should go follow her on Instagram. Hey Country Creations on Instagram. And that's how I follow her there too. That's how she has sales quite frequently. So if you go follow her there, you'll be able to see it anytime she has a sale. And I always buy off her sales, and I just keep buying from her. And I need to put in an order because I want to get the 4-leaf clover. And I think I want to get one of the Valentine's Day ones, even though it's going to be late. There's some really cute ones. So go check it out, you guys. Future cast-ons. Well, this was a future cast-on my list. I already got that down. Dalen's sweater, which is the crossbill sweater by Natalie Pellick. She's a Ukrainian designer. I have not, guys, okay, so here it goes. I realized I was frogging Brook Sweater. I went to go, I'm like, I'm just going to cast on Dalen's sweater then, fine. I got to keep it going, right? I have plans. And I got the yarn, and I went to go look at the needle size, and I was like, 2.5. A US 2.5 for a DK weight sweater. I was like, what? And then I saw the other size is a size 6. So the ribbing is in a 2.5. I'm like, 2.5 still. I'm like, oh, okay. And but I have to, he's the very smallest size, and I'm casting on like close to 300 stitches, like 200, over 250. Like, I don't want to give anything away, but I was like, and it was like kind of later at night when I was going to do it. I'm like, I am not sitting here casting on I'm like, that's like a blanket. I was just like, wow, okay. And it's bottom up, which was already like not my favorite, but I mean, it's a completely cabled sweater. So I think most of them are like that anyways. And I was like, oh. So I haven't cast that on yet, but it's going to be a future cast on. Like, I have the yarn upstairs. I have it all in a bag. Well, I'm going to move it to this bag, but I have it all ready to go. I just need to do it. Yikes. And then Brooke's new sweater. Okay. So I saw actually Danelle from Novelness had cast on is it the Big Rib? The Big Rib sweater by Jessie Made. And so she cast it on. I saw her cast it on. I'm like, oh, what is this? And I looked at it, the finished object. I was like, oh my gosh, Brooke would love this sweater. It's totally her style of what she wears now when she buys at the store. And I kept hearing her talk about how she'd been looking for a black or a white sweater. And so here I go. I offered her after this one didn't work out, and she was all excited about it. I was like, do you want me to I showed her the sweater, and she loved it. I'm like, do you want me to make it in black? She was like, oh. I was like, oh, okay. So, of course, do I own black yarn? No, especially not in sweaters quantities. So I'm actually going to order off of Knit Picks. They have the Wonder Fluff, which I think Jessie Made actually suggested as her like budget-friendly yarn. That'll go with that sweater. And they have a Wellies colorway, which looks almost more like a dark charcoal gray, like very dark. But it's the blackest they have, and that works. And Brooke saw it and she liked it. So I'm going to order that to make that sweater. In the meantime, Jessie Made also had like a birthday sale, so she had 40% off her pattern. So I bought that pattern, and then also bought the winter crop pattern. So I'm like, oh, look, that looks kind of like Brooke's style too. And I was like, wait, that's in bulky yarn, which this Mondrian pullover was also in bulky yarn. And I'm like, I wonder if I have enough of the white, the salt colorway, to make the winter crop for her. Or I could either, kind of color block the ends of the sleeves, or even just buy one more skein of the white. Like, what are they, $6? You know what I mean? So I'm like, oh, I wonder if I could do that, and then she'll get 2 sweaters out of it.
So we'll see on that. She liked it. So I'm like, okay, so I think I'm going to order the black yarn for the big rib, cast on Daylin's sweater, and cast on Brook sweater. And they're both white, like white cream sweaters. Brook's will get done really quick because it's in bulky. Daylin's is in DK and fully charted cables. So that's going to take me forever. But I'm really excited about that. So that sweater looked really cute. And the sleeve detail Brooke loves is a flare sleeve. I don't like a flare sleeve. She loves a flare sleeve. And Jessie Maid had it on her, like on her model where she was wearing her picture, where she was wearing her sweater in the picture. It had like the flare kind of like the wide sleeves, and Brooke loves that. So I'm going to make it just like that for her. And so yeah, Brooke's excited. So yay. So that's an upcoming like cast on. Also, the pieces wrap is so hot on my mind, and Ziggy Interrupted, and they're both using kind of like 50-gram sets or mini skein sets that I already have. And those are just like, but I'm focusing on Habitation throws, kind of like getting my mini skein mojo out. And once that's done though, I'm like, or even like once I get towards the end of that pieces wrap is kind of calling my name. And I'm kind of looking for something crochet, so the Ziggy Interrupted is looking there too. Those are like next ups. Now I have kind of a lot of plans for next ups. Like I have a lot of plans for finishing stuff because little life chat. 2 weeks ago I had a skin biopsy. Last week found out it came back melanoma. So nobody freak out. It is skin cancer. However, and it's melanoma, which is the worst kind of skin cancer. However, it is the best kind if there's any such thing of melanoma. It is a superficial spreading one, so it just stayed on the top layers and like just stayed there, and so far it hasn't done anything. So they'd already removed it and removed what I could see. I thought it was gone. Removed it during the biopsy. But now I have to go back in for like a full surgery to remove it. And so kind of like a backstory of why I was freaking out during the biopsy time frame, because they do a biopsy. You have to wait a week. A week and a day. I was like a nervous wreck because I've had this thing for like 5 years. And so I was panicking. So I was like, oh my gosh, I thought it was fine because I had it checked remotely during 2020. And the dermatologist was like, oh yeah, no, it's just like an age spot. I was like 38 at the time. And I was like, an age spot? On my leg? What? I didn't even know what that was. And I'm like, what do you mean? And she kind of embarrassed me a little bit. Like I was being vain. I was like, oh, okay. Well, and she's like, no, it's no big deal. We can remove it if you want. I was like, oh, I mean, it's okay. Like, you know what I mean? I was kind of embarrassed. I don't know why. So I'm like, oh, no big deal. Well, it was already big then, and it just kept getting bigger. And I'm like, you know what? I do want it off because I don't even want to wear shorts or skirts anymore. Like, it's on my calf, on my leg. So I go to my doctor. I'm like, oh, I was doing my checkup for like, I need my medication refilled, my testing, whatever, and my flu shot. And so I'm like, hey, can I get a dermatology consult to check this out, like in person now that we're doing that now? And she looked at it and she like freaked me out. She was like, that looks like a melanoma. I'm like, oh, that doesn't sound good. I don't even know what that word meant at the time. And I was like, oh, she's like, you need to get in like next week. Like next week. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, if you can't get you in, I will call. I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll call. So I went to a different dermatologist because, side note, that old person's not even in business anymore. They don't even have a website. So I went to a new person. So then I'm like freaking out. Like, oh, I did Google. I'm like, oh, that's not good. Go to have it biopsy. They were like, oh yeah, no. So I'm already like really nervous because I'm not, that the longer you wait for these things, the worse. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've waited so many years. Oh my gosh. So then I'm like, I did this to myself. Oh my God. Like I was just like panicking. And, but yeah, it came back good. Yes, melanoma, but good melanoma. I don't think that's, anyways. So moving forward. Wednesday, today's Monday. On Wednesday, I go in for my excision surgery. So I found out last Wednesday, a week later, I'm having the surgery. And it is loosely surgery. Like, they have to go in and, like, take a whole, I don't even know. I'm not going to get graphic, but they have to take a lot of, like, good tissue. I thought they had already removed it. Like, hey, now we have to go in and take it all out. I'm like, it's gone. But I guess, like, deep down, there's going to be, like, 2 layers of stitches. I don't even know what that means. Like, how do you do that? Whatever. I've only ever had stitches on top, right? 2 layers of stitches. They said, so they're going to be in for 2 weeks. Here comes my knitting part. they're going to be in for 2 weeks and it's on your calf. So you have to take it easy because you don't want to open the stitches. And I was like, oh, bummer. I have to like rest and like knit. That's too bad. That was my first thought. I was like, cool. So I've been like busy trying to get like the house ready and get Brooke's like lunches ready and get everything ready, like everything done and ready so that I can just relax and enjoy the relaxing part and knitting and not feeling like bad that I can't do stuff. And I don't think it's not that I can't be able to walk. It'll just be that I have to take it easy because I don't want to open the stitches because it's on my calf, and when you walk, like your calf moves. So I think that's why. But yeah, it's like a totally easy, like, you know, poor Brooke is like freaking out. I'm like, it's not a big deal. It's just, it's like, it's a half-hour thing. I go in, Dad's taking me, like, it's just, and they're going to send it off. They take it all out, I guess. I have no idea. They take whatever they need to take out and send it off again, just a double check, which is very nice, I think. And yeah, and that's it. So get your skin checked, guys, because so anyways, that whole time frame, I was freaking out. Right. Super like stressed. And Mom sent me a gift of knitting, a knitting bag. So it was really nice. But yeah, it was like the best news. And my husband was like, oh, so no cancer? I'm like, oh, well, yes, cancer. Cause I was like, good news. And I was like, oh, well, yeah, but like not like, you know, like people who have cancer, like this will just get removed and I'm done. Like that's like the easiest. I barely even call it cancer. Right. So really, really good. But then after this, I have to get checked, full body checks every 3 months, which, hello. I mean, yes, take care of my body, but that's a lot of full body checks, let's be frank, by people that aren't me. I don't even do I do full body checks? No, I don't. So yeah, that's my story of why I get to knit for 2 weeks, basically. And also why I'm going away this weekend, 2 days afterwards. And so I told my husband, I'm like, it's not going to be a lot of like, so he's going to be like my helper getting in and out of things. I think it's just like we're not doing anything, just relaxing. So it's perfect. I hope I didn't speed talk through that. I hope I made that sound just as optimistic as I feel. Because it's like, I'm just, whew. Like I told my mom and she's like, oh, that doesn't sound good. I'm like, Mom, do you not hear it? I feel amazing. Like that was like the best news I feel like it could have been. So yeah. No big deal. Get your skin checked. Wear sunscreen, even though I do, but I'm a redhead, so I mean. And apparently it's very common for women, I looked it up, to get it on their legs. Isn't that weird? That's a weird spot. Anyways. So, that's done. I have a ton of knitting time coming up, so that's why I'm getting this podcast recorded and getting it up, because I don't think I can make it down 2 flights of stairs for at least a couple weeks. The stitches are only in for 2 weeks, so it's no big deal. So let me go ahead and announce the winners. Okay, so the winner for the 2-year anniversary that I announced in episode 35 still needs to contact me. I'm going to give everybody the same deadline. So you need to contact me by February 28th, or else I'm redrawing for that one, because it has the calendar in it too. So like 2 months have gone by and no one's used that calendar. Okay, so that's through February 28th. Contact me for that. The last episode where I showed the zebra yarns giveaway yarn, that is the newspaper colorway, which, I need to order that. There's still the discount code through the end of the month. I need to order that because I was going to get a full skein for my husband. He would love that colorway. The winner for that is Jenny. Okay, Jenny, I know you. I know you from Instagram. Zuniga. I want to say Zuniga. That's my guess. Am I right? I'll put it right here, Jenny. Sorry if I totally butchered your name. You won. Go ahead and contact me. Email down below. DM me on Instagram. If I don't respond, I respond pretty quickly, you guys. If I don't respond within like a day, do me on the other plot. Like just email me almost. I mean, I check my email pretty frequently. But email me or DM me by February 28th. I'll just need to know your mailing address, and I already have your full name. So I think that should be it. And then for the giveaway for this episode, so that is Hey Country Creations, and it is St. Patrick's Day themed stitch markers, which is so cool. That's coming up in March. Side note, it was supposed to be Valentine's Day, but I didn't record for like 2 weeks. So now it's St. Patrick's Day stitch markers. So, okay, what are we going to do for a giveaway comment? Okay. So if you want to enter the giveaway for the Hey Country Creations beaded stitch marker that's themed St. Patrick's Day, tell me what is one, I would say pattern, but one item, one crafty thing that you are determined to make this year, this whole year. Like, it could be like felting, it could be crochet, it could be needlepoint. Like, what is one thing, like one specific thing? Like, describe it to me or give me the name of it or something. What is one thing you're, like, pattern name, whatever. One thing you're determined to make this year. You guys all know you've seen all my intentions boards. I have like 5 of them, right? My make 9 boards. But what's one thing? Just one thing that you really want to make this year. You don't have to make it, obviously. Just one thing you want to really make this year. And then I'll pull from those people for the giveaway for that. And that deadline is also February 28th. I will draw for that on February 28th. And yeah, I'll show you guys on the next podcast. Hopefully Brooke will be on that one. So yeah, I have a lot of good knitting time coming up. I got a weekend away this weekend with my husband. A little bit of knitting time there, so we'll just be relaxing. And yeah, and then the 2 weeks I have to be kind of off my legs from the stitches. And so in preparation for that, like I said, I've been like doing things around the house, but I've also been like writing down things like, what do I want to do with knitting wise? Like, I'm gonna have a bunch of like uninterrupted knitting time. It's gonna be amazing. Like, there's some socks I want to fix, like, that have holes in them. I never do those. I've been waiting forever, and like, this is my perfect opportunity to do it. I want to fix that. I want to work on my culmination squares. I need to get caught up on that. I already have the next colors in here, which I think I'm going greens again. It's like aquas into greens. Yeah, aquas into greens. And I want to get all of the yarn for the next two or three squares upstairs. So like, I need to get all the stuff upstairs because my yarn room's in the basement. Like, I'll probably be able to get up and down the first stairs, like, if I need to, but I don't have to come all the way back down here. That's like too many stairs. And so when I get all that taken upstairs, I need to get all the yarn to fix my socks upstairs. And I've been cranking a bunch of socks because I figured I'll crank a bunch of socks and then I can do the Kitchener, all the toes when I'm up in bed. So I've got 3 pairs so far. I've only done a couple nights. I want to at least get one more pair tomorrow night. If not 2 more pair, that would be amazing. So I've got Dame in a pair right here. They're still connected. But this is I love that. Isn't that a cool colorway? It's a very like neutrally, I think it's a Regia, like fade. Regia something. And then I made Brooke some socks that she chose, which are connected right here. This is Skein Queen. I can't remember the colorway. I'll show you, when I show you guys the finished objects, I'll tell you guys the colorway names. Or it's in my Ravelry pages. It's a really cool color. Brooke always, like, she doesn't pick any of my good cranking yarn, like my Regia or my, you know, that sort of thing. My West Yorkshire spinner. She goes for the good stuff. She goes for the hand-dyed. And always. And then she pulled this out, and I'm like, I've had this for so long. I'm like, I've been saving that. And I'm like, why, Kim? You don't even know. You have no intentions for this yarn. Just let her use it. She's gonna wear it. Let her use it. So yeah, I think it's Financial Times. I think that's the colorway. But I have it because I have this already on needles because I messed up. Oh, this was the very first sock. Crankers, you understand this. This was the very first sock. It fought me the whole way. The heel fought me. And then, of course, I was doing the toe. I'm like, oh, the toe's going to fight me too because it's the same thing as the heel. And then what did I do? I wasn't paying attention and I started cranking like it was the heel. I was like, oh. I'm like, I don't want to have to re-crank. I still have to do a whole other sock. I did not want to have to redo this entire sock. So I like pulled out and tried to pick up, and we'll see. I mean, it's for Brooke. So it's like, as long as there's not any holes, she won't care. So I'm going to try and like just fix it in Kitchener, and then I re-cranked the sock fine. Gosh, I was like, I am not. Like, if it was like a fast crank, it would have been fine. But that heel and toe fought me on this sock. It was just like, oh man. And then I did this colorway. This is for my Uncle Rob. I bought this is Scrumptious Pearl in a Centerfield colorway. I got this originally for Damon. I cranked him another pair. It's a Cigar Lounge ones for Christmas. And there's only exactly 400 yards, so I can't make them very tall for him because, you know, my husband has like size 15 feet. So I can't make them very long. He likes them really long for his suits because he uses shirt stays and stuff. And so his are a little short. And so I was like, I was going to make him another pair and just be short. I'm like, you know, I don't think he'll wear them as much. And I'm like, you know who would wear them? Because I promised my Aunt Lucy and Uncle Rob some socks. And my Uncle Rob coached baseball back in the day when his boys played, and soccer. So I'm like, hey, center field, he'll like this colorway. It's a cool baseball colorway. And of course his get really long because he's got smaller feet. But yeah, so I made him a nice, isn't that cool colorway? I really like that one. So yeah, so by Uncle Rob. And then I have already yarn wound up or coned up. This is Brooke's neck socks. I got this at Shenandoah Fiber Festival. Do I have the yarn? Yes, I do. It was a show colorway. Oh, the Yarnsmith. It was the show colorway. They had it like crocheted up in a scarf and it was beautiful. But I only got one skein and Brooke picked it. I'm like, why do you always pick my good stuff? So she's gonna have this, and I think I might have enough maybe for shorties for me. And then I got this. It's like a cool fade. What is this one? It is Super Socks by Lang, and then it does this. So I was gonna make this for Damon, but then I was like, I just made him kind of these. I mean, he doesn't need the same, maybe this one fades differently. And then I was like, maybe I'll make this for Uncle Rob. And then I'm like, well, I just made him those. So then I'm unsure what I'm going to make with these. Or who I'm making them for. I mean, they are kind of different. I can make them for Damon, or my son might like them. They're going to be somebody's. And then I also have yarn set aside that I need to put on cones now that I have cones accessible. Because I just went through 2 cones. I've got yarn for my Aunt Lucy. And yarn for my mom. So I want to get like at least Mom and Lucy's done tomorrow maybe. So then everybody gets a pair of socks. We'll see. But that's my plan. I always have grand plans. We'll see how much actually gets done. And then I also want to bring upstairs the kits. Well, my mom reminded me that I could do puzzles, which I'm very excited. I have a puzzle board to hold it on. I'm going to do that. But also, all those kits I have on my craft kind of, what I call it, crafty makes board. Like my felting flower and my needle punch. Like I can learn to do all that stuff while I'm like laid up and can't get up and do stuff. So I'm really excited. I'm going to basically bring up like bags from up down here up to my room and just have it all accessible to me, or at least have it within reach down here if I can send Damon or Brooke down here to get it for me. But yes, I'm really excited I'm actually really looking forward to kind of lounging. But that was like the first thing I was like, oh bummer, 2 weeks of like relaxing, just me time. Interesting. But I'm sure I think I'll be able to get around more than they were saying. I'm planning so that in case I can't get around, because if my stitches are, but I think and hoping that I'll be able to get around at least a little bit. I'm sure I'll be able to maneuver the stairs or something, but yeah, my voice is getting raspy. That's how I know I've been talking forever. Okay, so I think that's it. And I hope everyone's having a great February and a great 2023. Get your skin checked, guys. It's important. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.